Christmas. Merry Christmas, first of all.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever it is that you feel like you're celebrating, listeners, viewers.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Happy that.
That was yeah.
Um,
Happy whatever you
yeah, sorry.
celebrate. Fam.
PSA. Happy your thing. Happy your thing. Um,
Happy your thing.
Christmas. I have to. I have to like I had kind of briefly mentioned this to you that I was like, I need to defrag
Oh
for like
yeah.
24 hours before I can jump into a podcast. Hence our scheduling. Um, but yeah, I feel like I don't know where to begin. Maybe you'd be better at doing this. How was your Christmas
Can
and
we just
celebrations?
circle back to me when we're all done? I'll go last.
I'll go last. Yeah, yeah.
Nah, it was good. It was busy. Drive up on Monday night to Pembroke was boring and long because it was a snowstorm. But what a Canadian
Sweet.
thing to do, eh? We got winter tires. We'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And we were fine. We made it, and so we enjoyed 3 days back in the valley.
Mm-hmm.
I got to see a very good friend of mine, Michael Thomas. Big shout out to you, fella. Hopefully your holidays are great down in Windsor. I know there's a bit of a diaspora there where you live. Anyway, um, yeah, it was good. I'm glad to be home, but like you, needed that defrag.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me still does because the kids, the kids aren't in
Are
school,
nonstop.
and it
Yeah.
is fucking. I've been trying to get in my 12 minutes a day, like we talked about,
Yes, 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 yes.
and it's turning out to be way more than you can't end it at 12. It was almost rude for them to suggest 12 minutes was enough because every parent out there is like, all four of them that listen, they're like, yeah, I can totally commit 12 minutes of time. And then you get in there and it's been 12:01 and you're like, oh my God, you haven't even finished telling me the first fucking story. How
Mm-hmm.
much longer is this gonna, you know what I mean? It's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a trick because once they have
It's
you,
a
you're
lie.
trapped.
You're in
It's
it. I
impossible.
know.
Yeah. But yeah, I
Was
mean,
I
it
was
was
I talking about this on the cast previously? One of the things that I'm learning about my yoga teacher training is like oh my gosh, greed and like stealing people's time. And
oh,
then there's another
interesting.
one. Sorry, I have them written up here. Um
It's like, wow, you got a good memory. You're doing that memory search
no.
look
No, I have it like right up
look
here.
up. Oh,
No, I think that's the one. So it's like non greed is like the theme of this particular yama, and
chakram.
yeah, of the mind, and it's more or less like giving gratitude for what you do have and not demanding or being greedy about more. And one of the things that like my mom reminds me of this every time I see her. She's like, they demand so much of your time, and my kids are not afraid to be greedy about my time with them. And I think this applies to most kids. I don't think it's just my kids. My mom just like sees this dynamic
Mm-hmm.
happening with me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where they're like, this is my parent and they're mine. And so I want their time. And I think that may be what's you're running into as well is just they're like, we've got him hook, line, and
Yeah,
sinker,
seriously.
dude. Like he's ours.
You ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
I
it
could
feels
just
like 3 minutes
continue
with the
telling you
bone
this,
saw.
yeah, 73-minute story, and I could just go on, and then more and more time. And like kids don't know how to manage time, or they have no concept of it really. They're learning it, but
It
yeah.
was like Olivia opened up a
Is that
gift
what
and
you're running into?
yeah, no, that's what you just
I'm
described is exactly it. I think that was incredible. I
okay.
think, yeah, they
Okay.
get you hooked, and then they're a yeah, it makes sense that they're so demanding of your time. You're their prime article. You're the
Yeah.
first version of what being a human looks like to them,
Yeah, yeah,
and so
yeah,
they
totally.
have to take everything they can from you. They don't want to take
Mhm.
the shit you want to give them, They just want to take the shit that
Gently.
they want to enjoy, which is when you play with them and have fun
They,
with them and all
yeah.
that stuff. Um, but
Positive vibes only.
yeah, positive vibes,
Yeah.
positive vibes. Christmas was hilarious. Olivia opened up a gift, or no, one of the two of them said this. I think it was William. Now that I'm thinking about it, I've wanted this for years. And I was like, man, I'm not
7 years.
I'm not sure you comprehend uh, what you just said, and it was just so funny. And I feel bad
Yeah,
because
dude.
I feel like when I was a kid and we got laughed at, I felt like we were being made fun of almost.
Yes, there's like a shame component already built into other people's laughter. Yeah,
Yeah, and then
I understand that.
and now I'm just laughing nonstop at children, and it's like, oh fuck, am I? Can
Are
they
you
tell
that
that I'm
guy?
laughing at? Because William fucking hates getting laughed at. He
Oh, even if
he'll
you're
say,
laughing with him?
well, he doesn't understand the concept. Like just because he didn't intend to be funny when he did a thing,
Okay.
sometimes he'll
Okay.
say something, and I find it funny how he said it or whatever, and I'll kind of
Yeah.
laugh, and I'm not like busting a gut. I kind of just chuckle.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me. But he sometimes he gets quite upset, and I'm trying to explain to him the difference. I'm not laughing at you,
Mm.
and although you did the thing I'm laughing at,
Mm-hmm.
you know, how you did it kind of thing. But I don't think he can
Mm-hmm.
separate
I wonder if you
him from
wrapped
what
it
he
into
does.
like, yeah, yes. And I think at 7, I
Yeah,
think
it's
that's probably
understandable.
normal. I don't know.
Yeah, it's if he
I
could, I'd
wonder
be
if you
shocked.
wrapped it into a like a compliment. Like if you
Oh,
were
that's a
like,
nice
"Oh
way. Yeah,
man, you're such a comedian sometimes." Like
yeah,
the way you say stuff is really comedic. Like maybe
that's a great way of
make
doing
it
it.
more about, yeah, I don't know, like
Because now I don't have to
yeah,
explain it; he'll just intuit it.
like
Like
is that
like
language
that
he
I'm
would
not laughing
understand?
at him. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
I'm not laughing at him.
Mhm.
He'll understand that I'm laughing at the thing he did and not
Oh,
who he is as a person. Are we cutting out from each other?
yeah. I think a little bit, yeah.
Okay. That's good though. It
Is
wouldn't
that
be a we made a podcast episode if there wasn't a
without
tech problem.
some technical hang-ups?
That might
I
be the
I
theme of the show. It's a
some
truly millennial show, so we're gonna bring forward all the
Mhm.
problems we had, like skipping CDs and fucking blowing on video game cassettes. You know what I mean? We got to keep the tech issues
Might
rolling.
I Yeah, might I add to that? I um just today was listening to a podcast. It kept cutting out.
Oh,
It was
interesting.
connected to Apple CarPlay and it cut out 3 or 4 times within a very short, like 5 minute span. And I'm like, how? Why? I don't understand. Like it's connecting
Yeah, it's like when you hit a bump with your old CD
through
player,
airwaves.
and it would skip,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I've had that
Yeah.
experience in both of our cars.
Okay.
My car doesn't have
Skipping.
CarPlay. It's just it's too old for that, but it
Bluetooth.
does have Bluetooth. And the Bluetooth skips
Mm-hmm.
all the fucking time. Cuts in and out,
Mm-hmm.
drops whatever. Um and I'm assuming it's
Pain.
just like old software or whatever, I don't know. Trying to talk to
Okay.
these newer phones and shit, I don't know. But Cassie's car is
It's
fairly
possible.
new and it's got CarPlay and it skips like that
Mm-hmm.
too. And the only thing I can think of, and I don't think this is it because it's not always happening, but if you're like too
Okay.
close to another car, are your signals interfering? I don't even know if that's possible based on the
Oh,
technology that is being used. Like, I don't think the cell
I'm
phone is
curious.
outputting enough power to send the signal through two cars to the one in front of you. I don't know if
So, have you ever had this thing happen where you are driving near a car that is also connected to your Bluetooth and your Bluetooth jumps from car to car trying to connect? Because, like, Jordan and I have had this issue where we've gone tandem somewhere, like
mm-hmm.
separate vehicles near each other,
Yep.
and then my my phone will suddenly stop playing and then connect to the truck where I have, connect first as
An option.
a
Yep.
feature selected.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's trying to connect to my phone in his vehicle, and yeah, we just end up having to drive 5 car lengths away from each other
Yeah.
because
No,
it's
that
both of us are
happens
having interference. Yeah.
if I drive too close. If I drive my car behind Cassie's car
Mm.
in traffic, the same thing will
Mm-hmm.
happen. My phone
Same, same.
will
Yeah.
take over her Bluetooth and play in her car,
Woo!
and she's
Great.
and here's the other thing too. The GM keys are
Yeah.
paired to a user profile. So when Cassie
Right.
gets in her car with her keys, and it's her key that she's using as the starter remote, it's going to be her user
Yes.
profile. So hers should A, connect first, and be the one that's being used. And a good
Mm-hmm.
example of this is when I'm using the Bluetooth in her phone. Actually, that's a bad example. Sometimes when she is, when one of the devices is on CarPlay, the other one will just connect to Bluetooth,
Right.
and
Yeah.
sometimes the Bluetooth will take over the CarPlay. But
Yeah. It overrides.
when I'm in my car and Cassie's driving her car, I don't have my car keys for her car on me, so my user profile is not there. It's just
Mm-hmm.
hers, but still somehow, like my phone Bluetooth will connect to her car, and maybe because it's an immediate connect, like it's the most recent connection, it'll then
Okay.
start
Maybe.
playing. Like the car just knows that someone just connected Bluetooth. I bet it was the driver. I bet they want to listen to this.
Yeah. It's like trying to override.
It's just so
Be more
fucking
intelligent and helpful, and it's
yeah.
not.
Yeah, be more intelligent, and I will tell you when I want to switch
Yeah.
vehicles.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Today I tried to completely disconnect my Bluetooth and CarPlay from my phone in the hopes that I could reconnect it
right?
and have it work because it wasn't working. It just kept saying will not connect, and I'd hit retry and it wouldn't do anything. But then when I go into Bluetooth, it was connecting on Bluetooth but wouldn't play. And then on Apple CarPlay, it would connect. And so I was like, well, just remove the phone. Forget this phone completely. We will completely remove it, start fresh. And it wouldn't do that. It I would hit forget phone, confirm, and then it would just sit there with my phone on the screen. And so I turned the like I pulled over
Oh,
into a
that's
parking lot,
aggravating.
turned the car on the car, got back in, tried again, same problem. And I was like, I'm gonna try this on an entirely different day with my phone completely out of range. And I think hopefully that will work. Who knows? If there are any technical support people out there that can help
Oh
us
my
with this
goodness.
very silly problem, please do. I heard through a very reliable source that Apple CarPlay will become a paid feature.
When?
It's like the next model year of cars. Was not going to sign up. Like I'm not sure if it's this upcoming. Am I frozen?
I'm getting you in fits and spurts right now.
Oh, okay. Okay, I should be okay now. Yes.
Yeah, I heard you
Am
talking
I
about. Uh,
still frozen? Okay.
oh, am I frozen on your side?
Apple CarPlay. No,
Okay,
Apple
Apple
CarPlay being
CarPlay
a
being a paid
subscription.
feature, yeah, is where I stopped
Yeah.
understanding you.
So, okay, okay. So I'm excited for this to happen because then I will no longer have to be on Apple CarPlay to listen to my music. Because right now, you can't just do Bluetooth. Maybe you can. I haven't figured out how to do that. I feel like it always bumps you into Apple CarPlay.
Right?
And the feature has been like a lunch bag letdown for me in a lot of ways. So I'm like, I'm excited to just not have it as an option and just like sign me up for Bluetooth only. I'm assuming Bluetooth will remain a free thing because how do you charge for Bluetooth, you know?
Yeah, it's like a basic human
But
right now.
yeah, I'm just like looking forward to doing that. Like, I would
So
love to just go back to plugging my phone into the USB.
what?
The end, you know? Like,
Okay, boomer. Um, what? What is it about?
I spent 4 days with a boomer, and I guarantee they don't know how to do that.
Yeah, so true. What about CarPlay was a letdown for you? I'm just curious.
A lot of the connectivity issues.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we
Um,
just talked about a bunch of it. Yep.
yeah. The one thing I will say is having the map
Mm,
on your screen's real handy.
I love that.
However, you can get the suction cup on the window and have your phone set up there like old times doing your
Mm,
maps, right?
mm,
Um, I
indeed.
think a lot of it is just like user interface glitches. So like not being able to set up the screen the way you want it to. It's
Yeah.
like silly little things like this that I'm just like maybe if that became an option, maybe that would change my mind. I don't know,
Right.
but just trying to like go between music and podcasts sometimes. Sometimes I'll play music for the kids. Asking Siri to look it up often fails, and like you're not handling the screen while you're driving, like it doesn't let you do that, which is a safety thing. Like I completely understand why. Um but then having Siri not understand what it is that you're looking for. Like it's a very fancy feature, and it's almost too um what's the word? It's almost like the technology is almost there to be fully functional. I
Right.
find it's like it's just shy of being a really great, because there are aspects that are real handy
So you're
and great
telling
to
me
have, but
what you're essentially saying is this is sorry, this is what I'm hearing. I'm asking
yes,
for verification.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Is you're like you were so close.
yeah,
So close. And
yeah.
you just phoned it in for the last 2 weeks.
We
Like,
kind of, yeah,
okay, okay, that makes a lot of
lost
sense. Big
lost a
time.
little, lost some of the things that makes it like it's let's be honest, it's a first world problem, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm. Oh, for sure. But we don't
it's
need to
not a big
qualify
deal.
that. It's because it's so fucking annoying.
Yeah, if it's going to be something that I use on a daily basis, I think I want it to function a little more dialed in. I don't
Hmm.
know. I
Yeah,
think
for
that's
sure.
all.
Yeah, it's the things that you expect to not have to think about, and when they become problems, they're just
Mhm.
beyond aggravating.
Mhm. Mhm.
I agree so much, and especially when it's tech shit with the fucking car. There's only so many options
Yeah.
you can use to troubleshoot,
Yeah.
and you're like, just connect to the car.
Ye- yeah,
Losing
what
your
are we
mind.
doing? What are
Yeah,
we doing?
yeah. And then when you said pull over, I to solve it, I got so mad for you. I was like, oh great, this is fucking yeah, no, not happening.
Like it's
That's
consuming,
interesting.
it's too distracting.
It
So like
is.
I understand I'm not going to do that while I'm driving. That's ridiculous. Imagine getting into an accident. I was trying to connect to my Bluetooth. Like, what a dummy. Just pull over, right? So
Hmm.
I'm like, I'll just pull over. It's the safe thing to do.
The one
But
thing
then,
I
yeah,
really
here you
don't
are.
like is that it will, if you don't pause your music or your audiobook or your podcast, whatever you're listening to,
Mm,
before you turn off your car and get out, it's going to immediately start playing it again when you turn on the vehicle.
I didn't think of that.
And I fucking hate that.
Oh,
And I don't know if there's maybe like an autoplay option in the menu somewhere that I should look for, but I'm
mm-hmm.
like, God, like sometimes you're listening to like really loud, heavy shit or like an audiobook that's like super fucking weird. And now, like,
I
I got
have been
Cassie or the kids
listening.
looking at me like, what's the magic mushroom and the sacred cross? Like, oh
Yeah,
boy, how
I.
do I explain this?
And they're like innocent, so they're like, oh, that sounds fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I've definitely like listened to podcasts with grown adults like us just talking and swearing and saying things that just like subject matter not for children.
Hmm.
And then I realize it quickly upon entering the vehicle, and I'm just like, oh, let's just pause this real quick, because
Well,
I'm like,
here's,
you can listen to this when you're a grown up, just like I did.
and it's funny because it starts immediately playing, but I still
Yeah.
got to wait for the fucking screen to finish
To
loading up so I can
process.
get through the menus to get to the app and pause it.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck. And most of the time too, I'm just annoyed because I listen when I'm listening to the stuff, and now
Mm-hmm.
now I'm missing good shit. Anyway,
Yeah.
It's
You're like,
funny.
scroll back 30 seconds.
Yeah, these are first world problems, but they are fucking problems.
They're
They're
problems.
they're real, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so long story
Um.
short, holidays so far so good.
So far, so good. Yeah, we're kind of midway through
Yeah.
the break. The kiddos. I'm assuming your kids got super spoiled
I
by
was angry
Santa
at how many
and
gifts they got.
adults.
Yeah.
Oh, angry. Oh
Yeah,
no.
because I didn't appreciate how many gifts they'd get this year and how
Okay.
much like I said, we got a roof rack bag kind of thing. It's just
Yes.
this giant fucking duffel bag that sits on the roof of your car.
Yes.
It comes with an anti-slip mat that you can put underneath, so it's not just raw dog in the paint on the roof of your car. Um,
Oh man.
but it's
What
definitely
a description.
it's definitely not enough for a lot of people. Just FYI, it's an $80 solution to a
It's
really
not large
expensive
enough.
problem.
Is that
It's
what you're
not
saying?
quite large enough, but it's also
Okay.
weird because wind picks up the edges of the bag while you're driving, kind of thing. So it's
Is it
like it.
terrifying? Do you hear it?
No, it's a heavy, thick material, but it's just like the wind will lift it, and then it kind of just stays there. It's not
Okay.
flapping; it's just up, kind of thing.
Oh, okay, okay.
Like being held up by the force of the wind, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But it was $80, and we were able to. Yeah, I was angry, thinking, "There's like, how the fuck are we getting all this shit home? Everything's in big ass fucking boxes. There's
Mm-hmm.
17 boxes. We got a dog. I put
Mm-hmm.
her in the bag so we have room in the trunk for all the anyway, like it was
Right.
it all worked out. It was fine, but I was
Yeah.
still like, my god, people.
It's
We
a lot.
travel. Come on. Get them
Yeah. Help.
small ass shit. And
Help
then
me
everything else
out.
that they can build, they fucking build. So it's not just the box of Lego. It's the whole fucking Mario castle now that will cause a problem if it gets destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how big Gabby's dollhouse is? Because I do. And it's too
I
fucking big for the car.
Too big. I think I've seen a Gabby's dollhouse. They're pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were good gifts. The kids were spoiled. They had a great Christmas. I think they really felt loved.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
yeah,
great.
it was just
Yeah.
quick. It was 3 days,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
It
it's a
goes by
whirlwind.
fast.
Yeah, and then you're kind of okay with it. You're kind of glad to be home, but at the same time, you're like, man, I could go visit more people, maybe
Mm-hmm.
relax a bit more. Um,
Not be so rushed to leave.
yeah, and then for Cassie too, it's like we went the day like she worked, and we left after work, and then we got back and she worked the next day. So it's like she hasn't even
No
had a
break.
chance to just decompress from
Yeah.
the vacation.
Do the defrag that we were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting. We have experienced we'll say like a commute holiday before, so we can appreciate how much of a pain in the butt. That being said, not with kids. So I feel like that would be to me the tricky part, but your kids travel well, right?
They're not bad. Yeah, they're pretty good to be honest. It's
Mhm.
I call it the transitional activities. So
Mhm.
getting into the car, getting out of the car, getting ready for food, eat, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
some of these activities are where you're taking them from one thing to another, and I find that's where the friction is most of the time.
Right. The
So beyond that, yeah,
transition.
like you get them in the car and they got their little friggin' tablets, which is such a blessing.
You're like, thank God for
Because I
tablets. Yeah.
remember many car drives just staring out the window, just
Yeah.
just fucking like, cool, man. I've seen these
Yeah.
trees so many fucking times. Oh,
Yeah.
like it's so funny. And now the kids are like,
Oh,
I'm not
that
even
one
sure what
grew.
outside is. That one
Yeah.
grew.
That one
Yeah.
grew. Yeah. Um yeah, that's an interesting point actually cuz like yeah, we didn't have distractions until you were old enough to read, which I can tie into a different subject, but one moment. Yeah, the kids have entertainment at their fingertips all the time.
Yeah, the only distractions that were in our vehicle while we were driving was us to our dad.
With each other. Oh, with your dad. Oh,
Would you
sure
kids
he'd
shut
love
up?
that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the parents are the ones that are annoyed when the kids are in the car. You know what I mean? You
Mm-hmm.
can't explain. Like, everything bad that happens to William is Olivia's fault. Plain and
Uh-oh.
simple.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, when he gets angry, she made me upset. She wouldn't stop looking at me. Oh, okay, that's yeah, she's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like
Hey,
Anson has been saying some things like that, and I was like, Anson, I think it's important to realize when someone else is bothering you and when we're letting someone else bother us. And I was like, I know that's hard to understand and grasp at your age, but like, you can let this bother you, or you can move on and go do something else and walk
mm-hmm.
away, tell her to stop. Like, there's a lot of alternative approaches. Obviously, not so many when you're in a vehicle buckled in with your tablet, but
Yeah,
it's
alternative
it's
dispute resolution.
yeah, like at that age, they're just like there's no concept
There's no
of
concept of
culpability.
chill.
Well, that too, yeah.
Yeah, they don't understand, and I mean, I
What
think it's
you
just
are not responsible for, yeah.
guilt by association. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh gosh, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
What's
Yeah,
this?
they're
What's this
funny.
segue to reading you were talking
Oh
about?
gosh, okay. So my mom says funny things, and she I'm trying to remember how this got brought up. She was like, what do you think of the school system? Like, what are your thoughts on how Anson's learning? Like I think she was just trying to get a grasp on like
The new
what's it
curriculum
like
kind of
having
thing.
yeah, what's it
Yeah.
like having kids in this day and age at school? What's the curriculum like? Blah blah blah. And I was like, man, I'm so jazzed. I was like, I don't know if Anson's like I've been told he's on track, like everything's good. I'm not worried. Which makes me wonder, like, are all kids learning to read at this age? Because I was like, he can read in English and in French, like at a very beginner level. Like he's learning to read, right? So it's some like sounding out words and stuff like that, but like he has all the foundational skills to try and make the sounds of a word and like come up with what it could be, right? So like if we're reading a word and there was like one the other night that was quite long and he just sounded out the things that were familiar, blah blah blah. Anyways, all this to say, I was like, I think they're doing a great job. Like I couldn't read
Yeah.
till the third grade, I'm pretty sure, like at all. At all. And I was like, I'm pleased. I'm impressed. I feel like they're doing well. And I don't want to speak for you, but I'm assuming you guys feel similarly because you were saying like the kids are doing really well. Um, would you say that that's true?
I think so, yeah. I mean, and I don't think it's one of those like I know we can talk about older grades like high school and stuff like that
Yeah.
where uh the curriculum's a little bit more complicated and grading's a little bit more weird and stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think at these elementary school levels, I think they're teaching it. If it's any indication, the individual schools seem to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Our school is phenomenal. The teachers there are all incredible.
Mm.
Uh, there it doesn't. I don't really hear very many complaints about any of the staff there, kind of thing. And it's a
Same. Yeah.
relatively small school, which I think is helpful.
I
Um,
think that's nice. Yeah.
yeah, I think they like being in school. I think they like the way it's being like in my mind. I don't think it's very much different from when we were in kindergarten and like grade 1, 2, 3, whatever. There's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of different topics that are covered in a day, and I think the only
Yeah.
thing that's really different, and it might not even be different, it might just be that I wasn't paying enough attention. But there are certain like classes or activities that they don't do every day. Like they'll only have art every 2 or 3 days, which is
Mm-hmm.
probably problematic. I'm not sure.
Not
But
sure yet.
things like that didn't sound familiar, but you know, aren't really impactful. I don't think.
Right. I was thinking about it. I was like, "Ah, there's no way we did art every day. There's no way we did English, math, geography or something similar. Um, and then also did art and gym every day. I feel like
Yeah,
I think I remember doing gym every other day or maybe every third day, something like that. Like it was more than what it is now, but they're putting such an emphasis in education on language and mathematics that if that's going to be the priority, then they have to move other things out. Their
yeah,
options are make the day longer, which we're all going to agree, no, thanks. Um, or you shuffle some things and reprioritize, right? So, yeah, like I definitely understand why people would be upset that there isn't maybe as much physical activity and things like that. But that's also what recess and lunchtime is for, like the kids getting out, stretching their legs, playing with their friends, those kind of things. And
same
then
as prison.
same as prison. Yeah, institutionalized. And then I like so many kids are in extracurriculars for the purpose of staying healthy, active, and whatever. And I don't think that's a bad thing. There's a lot of extracurriculars that are affordable. Some are subsidized, so access to it is not impossible, you know. So, but yeah, my mom was basically asking, is it good, not good, blah blah blah, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm super pleased, because Anson's, I think, doing great. She's like, well, you'll see, I guess, when Isla goes there if things change, blah blah blah. And I was like, wait, what do you, what? I I had to like double take. I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, maybe it's just Anson. Like maybe he's just doing well. And then when Isla gets in, like maybe you'll run into trouble. And I was like, can we just like not talk about the possibility of this being negative? Like I don't want to go in with rose colored glasses by any means, but I also would like to think that she's gonna do great too. You
Yeah,
know, if a problem
just playing devil's
arises,
advocate. You know what I mean? Like,
a little bit, it
get
was a little bit of
get
that.
out of
And I was,
here.
yeah, I was like, she's 3. It's all good.
I do that all the time though too, and not that, but in Michelle's defense, I often
Mm-hmm.
forget who I'm talking about. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
break this down for me
Well,
because
like
I do
sometimes,
want to better understand. I feel like I might get a better glimpse into my mom's cognitive
yeah, because all she's thinking
space.
is
Yeah.
Isla's another whole human being,
Okay. Yeah.
but in
Yeah.
her mind, she's considering Isla mentally like an adult. She's like, oh, she's the variables are a new person, new environment. Maybe
Yes.
it's going to be oil and water, whatever. But
Yes.
Isla
Okay.
is not a person. Isla
Okay.
is becoming a person. Isla is
Yeah.
discovering a lot about the world every
Yeah.
fucking day. And you're
Every
on
second.
receive
Yeah.
again, I mean, anyone who knows Isla, she absolutely loves the fucking world. She
Yeah.
just wants to
Yeah,
learn
dude.
everything there is. Like she is just so happy. And so that's what makes me think that Michelle is like, yeah, you know, everyone's individual and
Right.
all of these variables are to be considered kind of thing, and I feel like that's like an ADD approach to thinking about this. um
Okay. This
but
gives me a little bit of insight into like where her mind was at, cuz she says stuff like this sometimes and I'm like, I do not understand what you're talking about. I'm
my
just like totally lost. My brain goes in a weird way cuz I'm not a logic brain, but like she says these things and my brain goes logic brain, but she's not in logic brain. She must be, what would it be? I don't know.
irrational,
Abstract.
creative,
Abstract
abstract.
brain? Yeah.
So my first thought when you were telling the story
Yeah.
was that she was just simply talking about Anson having his younger sister at school,
Oh, she's, yeah.
and
Okay.
that inner reaction and how that might change things.
Mhm.
But then when you explained what she was thinking, I was like, like I'm hoping that's what it was buried in all of
I
that.
see.
But
The message.
yeah, like sometimes I talk about the kids or I talk to them, and I'm like, man, you're You got to dial it down, dumb it down. Like they don't understand what you're talking about. You got to don't just say shit to them because it's the truth. Like
Yeah.
communicate the spirit of the truth to them in a way that they're gonna understand and comprehend. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
fucking bad at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you
Like,
go like very like literal
well, so
with
and I mean
stuff?
they're not long-winded answers, but yeah, sometimes it's just too literal. As an example, I
Mm-hmm.
can't think of anything right now, but maybe a good
Colin, there
example.
is something on your shirt. Go like this. What is that?
I don't know.
That
Looks like
weirded
a
me
little
out.
fly.
Oh, it's
Like a
gone now.
little. Hmm. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I was like, am I seeing
Oh,
things?
great.
Are
I'm
there
just
more?
for all the vegetarians out there. I'm so sorry. I'm picking fly
Fleas.
parts off my shirt. It's a
uh,
fucking massacre. Oh god, I'm gonna have to burn this thing. Sorry, guys. I will leave a banana peel out and get a new fly. Um,
LOL.
yeah, like the
Totally.
conceptual
Okay.
stuff that you try to teach kids,
Yeah.
like we were talking earlier. Like she's not bugging you. You just don't
Yep.
like what she's doing,
Right.
and you can't really sort of like to try to break that down to a kid's level is something I'm not good at because I have to
Okay.
just it takes me time. I gotta stop. I gotta like, okay, stop being Colin for a second. Start being William.
Be the William Brain. Yeah.
Be William's brain and understand what he understands. Now say the thing that he needs to hear.
Okay.
And usually by then, the teachable moments passed.
I was gonna
Eh,
say William's run off and he's like,
Yeah, they're
"Do-do-do-do-do."
like
You're like,
whatever, old man.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh.
So,
I do. I'm trying to think of like ways that this could become like an easy process for somebody to kind of like switch from one mode to the other because I recognize what it is to like pause, like understand I'm in a teachable moment and then deliver within that teachable moment
yeah.
are like all very separate brain process.
And like just to identify it to begin with.
Totally. Yeah. If you're in overwhelm or if you're in a state of like
That's
coping,
exactly it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
it's going to be super hard to get out of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you have to kind of almost like even just like running up and down the stairs might like jog your brain out of something like that. You know what I mean? Like just get out of your immediate circumstance for a second and like maybe pause, refresh. But then yeah, you don't want to lose your audience either,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
that's it. That's tricky. Or you could turn that into the thing, be like, let's run up and down the stairs together. And then if you still remember what it is that you wanted to teach at the end of it, you could be like, oh, this is the thing.
Yeah, if I try
And then if
that,
you
no.
don't, just be like, we just we move on. I don't know.
Did did we parlay into that reading thing? I know we started.
Yeah, sorry, that was kind of where I was at with it. Like just Anson being able to read
Oh,
and
right. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, okay.
at his age
Yeah.
and just recognizing that yes, I think they're doing a phenomenal job and like you, the teachers and the staff, like they're fantastic. He was at, I would say, a bigger school before, and now this school is v- m- much smaller. I don't know if I'd say much, but it's noticeably smaller. um but I think it's kind of got a little bit more of that tight knit community spirit about it. um
All the
I think,
parents start to look familiar kind of thing.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
they're more like local because now the zoning for each of the schools in town are like divided. I don't want to say properly because like I don't know if it's right, wrong, whatever, but it's like the people who live on this side of town go to the school on that side of town, and now the people on this side of town go to school on this side of town because French immersion is available at both schools. So um yeah, I feel like that's really good. And I'd be curious to know and hear. from, I know we have a couple like teacher listeners, if they have any, words that they'd like to share about how the curriculum has changed. I was thinking about it, like I don't recall hearing about major curriculum changes. I feel like one thing the one sort of asterisk I would add to that is like they were talking about sex ed in the curriculum, but that's older grades, obviously, and how that there was a lot of controversy because they want to talk about like gender identification and things like that, and transgender stuff, and so many parents were like, that's disgusting, that can't be in our schools. And then the argument was like, well, it's happening in the world, so like we should be talking about it so that the kids at least have, they're not going in blind,
Mm,
if you will, into the
yeah.
world. And so that was a big argument, but other than that, I feel like whatever they've been doing to progress the curriculum over the course of the years, I think they're doing all right. Like,
Do
seems
you think
good.
do you think they're just trying to cram more shit into younger grades though?
I do get the impression that they're trying to teach skills earlier, sooner, so that
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
more
yeah, yeah.
proficient at younger ages, so that they can kind of get that like onset stuff out of the way. Like, you guys all got this down pat, so now we can move on to this. So by the time you get to middle school or high school, your foundational skills are so solid that like you really can expand and develop on those a lot better, hopefully. I think that's my understanding, is that's the goal, but who, I don't know
I mean,
if
it's
that's
a
actually it. I'm not a
it
teacher, so I can't say.
sounds like a good goal. Prepare
Hmm.
them for their education instead of just force it down their throat and then hopefully they retain it.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, my understanding is also that they're trying to teach things in a more like easily absorbed way.
Right.
I can't speak to math because like Anson's just doing sort of like basic addition, subtraction. I think they're getting into multiplication and division, but it's like very like
Damn.
dabbling, like light
Damn.
like the
Like one
concept.
times one.
Yeah, like the concept of like multiplying is still very, I think, beyond their scope. But like at the parent teacher thing, he was like, yeah, we start introducing it this year for grade ones, and then next year we'll do it all year. So I was like, oh wow, okay, interesting. Um, but I also want to, because this I think applies also to a lot of careers in general. But because my mom and I were talking about this, about teaching and education specifically, I had this curiosity and question, like the last decade, in my opinion, has proven to be a time of like what seems like great change
I agree.
in a lot of ways, and perhaps a lot of different career types and things like that. um, I say this only because I know some people who have gone into teaching, for example, and started, even though it's been maybe 15 years, we'll say like they're at the 10-15 year mark of their career right now. And um, in contrast, if you talk to older people who are nearing retirement, for example, in teaching, they have seen such a broad
Yeah.
change happen. But my understanding is that that big change, like the really noticeable change, has really been in the last 10-ish years. Um, I'm curious if that's the case for everyone. Like, has everyone kind of gone through this transformation uh, in career paths? Like, even just the social issues, like adding your pronoun at the end of an email. I'm thinking 10 years ago, unheard of.
Yeah.
Now, almost commonplace, no?
It is commonplace. It's been
X
directed at like
demand,
in
it's, yeah.
the federal government, you're allowed to have your pronouns on your signature block so you can be properly addressed, I
Addressed.
suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, big changes.
Yeah. Curious things.
Or
Um,
what about just even co-ed, transgender, like gender neutral bathrooms?
yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure when that falls into that 10-year kind of thing, but I feel like it's been a problem for probably a problem. It's been controversial
Mhm.
for a huge chunk of that 10-year period.
This is it.
Um,
Yeah, there's been like a real push for let's update the our
it's like social
database a little
norms
bit.
kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
Major
an
software update.
evolving. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Seriously, because now like you see gender neutral or whatever bathrooms, you're like, cool, I can go to this one too.
Yeah.
Um, and
I've
then the
noticed for
pronouns.
the most part it's like everybody's got a stall. It's gender neutral. It's a stall with a toilet and a sink,
And
and you
honestly,
decide.
and
That's fine.
honestly, it's not. I think people are maybe conflating the issue. I'm not sure, but
Mhm.
it's not that everyone. It's so that everyone has a place to go to the bathroom that they're comfortable going, not
Totally.
so that you have to change where you go to the bathroom or who's going to the bathroom with you. Because
Yeah,
most,
it's not a personal attack on anyone.
no, that's it.
Yeah.
And I mean, most gender neutral bathrooms are individual bathrooms anyway.
Right. Yeah.
Some of
Yeah.
them are like at the new unit lines in Petawawa for the Dragoons, they
Yeah.
have gender neutral bathrooms. It's you come around the corner, there's a bank of sinks with a door on either side, like access, and then
Mhm.
behind that wall of sinks, there's I think six or whatever stalls. It's just floor to ceiling doors kind of thing. And I
Yeah.
think the only thing that changes, and it's quite obvious, is it's not super soundproof. So
Okay.
if there's
Nice.
a hefty fella blowing his ass out in the toilet beside someone of any gender, they
Mhm.
might not enjoy it. But the thing is, that's also worse in a regular bathroom where it's just acoustically incredible at
Yeah.
making it sound way worse than it is.
Absolutely. And I was going to say like the access for a urinal I think then changes cuz like instead of having an open bank of urinals, like I don't know if that still exists, but like maybe that's now behind a closed door kind of thing. Or do are urinals being
So a
phased
lot
out altogether? I don't know.
regular men's rooms still have urinals. I'll put that out
Yeah.
there on the record. That's
Yeah.
official. I've seen them.
I've
I've
seen it.
used them. They all work. And then the only other one is if they're like a bank of bathrooms, they're just going to be a toilet and behind a
Mhm.
door. But I have
Mhm.
seen the individual bathrooms, like a complete three-piece sort of
Okay.
three-piece. Is that, well, it's got a toilet and a sink.
Toilet, sink, urinal.
Urinal, that's it. Yeah, it's three-piece. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it was. That's where it's a toilet and a urinal, and that's just so that a guy doesn't have to worry about pissing on the seat or sitting down to pee, even though it's
Mhm.
cleaner, arguably. I
In
don't
and
know.
out.
That's what I've
Yeah.
heard. Yeah,
Who
exactly.
knows? Yeah.
It's so that you can relieve yourself in the manner that you prefer.
Right. Yeah.
And that's
Fair.
what the
Fair.
argument boils down to. Like,
Like we all have to pee. We have to pee somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a basic
Hey,
human need.
have you heard? This is a bit off topic, but this came up
Mhm.
today. Have you noticed any price increases on products that are during this tax-free window?
Oh my gosh, what a good point. I have not. Trying to think.
Because yeah, I had a
No,
buddy
I don't think I have. Have you?
messaged, and he was saying that what did he write? I don't know if he was for sure. He said we've noticed it. We're not quite sure, but it's the same thing that we were talking about before booking our trip, and we were
Mhm.
considering Black Friday. Are they just going to
Pump up the price the week
pump
before.
pump up the price a week before and then drop it? But yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing here.
Oh my gosh. While we are while you're looking that up, I wanted to not forget, but like December 26th, my darling friend Michelle, many people know her by the name Mimi, gave birth to a little girl. And I just wanted to go on the record on our podcast that she's now a mom. Lars
She
is a
made
dad,
it.
and she made it. And yeah, happy, I guess, belated, one day belated birthday. What day are we? Oh my God.
It's the
28th.
28th.
2 days ago. Holy moly.
Jeez.
Yeah. So 2 days ago.
This bitch is gonna hate you when she's older.
I know. And yeah, so we were like, okay, we've got to. Mimi was looking for tips. Like, I know she's going to be coming around Christmas. Like, what do I do to make her birthday special? I was like, I think having a Boxing Day birthday is going to be better. Because, like, if it was on Christmas, that's a real battle, you know?
Yeah, it's hard because, I thought my birthday was close to the holidays, January 9th. It's
Yeah.
pretty soon after New Year's, but I was, it's definitely far enough away. But
Yeah.
Cassie's brother is today on the 28th.
Oh, gosh.
And
yeah.
her father is on the 30th.
Yeah.
So they're like it's like
Tight squeeze
fucking
right in there.
bing,
Yeah.
bang, boom, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that would you be in the frame of mind as a kid to be able to appreciate the that it means more people are going to be around maybe for your
Right? Yeah.
birthday. I just don't want. I don't know. I always worry that people might find their birthdays overshadowed. Like, they're not a big
Yes.
deal, but if there's like, if you can't be a little bit selfish one day of the year,
Mm-hmm.
when can you be, right?
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about half birthdays. If your birthday's in December, you could do a birthday halfway through the year, like
Oh, half
July.
birthdays.
What would that be?
Ah,
June 26th instead.
ooh, that's a clever idea.
Just like to spice it up a little,
Mm-hmm.
or
And or
Steph was mentioning this kind of to your point of like, um, are you overshadowed by this huge event? And Steph's birthday is tomorrow, so she's like right between Tyler and Dale, and so she was saying like she may not see it or appreciate it in the early years of her life, but I remember my aunt Danielle always like making a point of like giving Steph a birthday party and having her friends over during, it was usually during the Christmas holidays, which worked out great because everybody's off, so you could never RSVP no.
yeah,
Unless you were like physically away for whatever. But yeah, she always like made a point to like have a actual birthday for her. And then my aunt Danielle is also a Christmas freak, so like Steph would get a mountain, and maybe not always literally a mountain, but just like her hopes and dreams would come true on Christmas, and then her birthday would be immediately after. She would get her party and her friends would come over. And so I think it was always like a special thing. And like Steph definitely admits, she's like, I maybe didn't always see it as that because Christmas was always like the big event, right?
yeah. Like, oh my
But
god, look at all
she
these presents
says,
I have to open again.
right, again. But she said it now, and like most of her adult life, she's been like really appreciative for the things that you just mentioned. Like you get to see family, people are willing to travel and like make that, I don't say exception, but like you will see people around your birthday whereas you may not normally, you know.
Yeah.
um so yeah, I think it's a special time.
What did they name her?
Ellie.
Ellie. Is this a short form of anything? Is her name actually Ellen?
I think it's just Ellie.
Ellie.
Yeah,
That's really, really
that's what
cute.
she said.
Good
Ellie.
for
And
them.
she's cute as a button. Oh my god. Just like, do you look at pictures of newborns now and go, oh, they're so cute? Like in a nostalgic way.
I mean, if it's a cute newborn, yeah, I will. But
Yeah,
not all newborns are cute.
this newborn is so cute. Yeah.
Some of them come out looking like fucking mandrakes from Harry Potter.
Or Dubby.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
Like
no.
fucking
No,
hairless
Ellie.
cats.
Yeah, Ellie is cute AF. And they're like probably overwhelmingly surrounded by so much supporting family right now. And yeah, we because we're in a group chat and we're just like, dude, take whatever time and space you need. Ask us for help if you want it, but like
It's a
if you
lot of
need to just
energy.
like peace out and
Yeah.
like leave us on red for a while, like no problem.
Yeah.
We've all experienced that fun newborn time, and it's a lot when you're in it, man.
When you're in it, yeah. Especially the first one. The second one, you feel like a bit of a veteran. You feel
Yes,
like you can,
a little bit of knowledge
yeah,
base to
you
work
can
off
dust
of.
off
Yeah,
some of your armor and fucking, all right, let's do this one again, you know?
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that first one is a fucking, it's
A
rude.
doozy.
It is fucking, it is, you think you understand things, right? And this happens to everyone with all kinds of things. You know, you think you
I
know what your
think.
first day work's going to be. You think, you know, you have expectations, is what it amounts to.
I think.
And
Yeah.
you have expectations about what it's going to be like being a parent. And
Mm-hmm.
every step of the way, you're wrong.
You are. Yeah. I was gonna say surprised, but yeah, like nothing is as you expect it to be. Somehow, like I'm like, oh yeah, breastfeed the baby, and you're like, oh wait, that's a struggle, and then you're like, I've got to also take a shower, but then also make sure that they sleep, and I'm supposed to sleep when the baby sleeps. But then when do I do like when do I eat? When do I eat? Who's gonna do that? Like, and then I remember Jordan and I being ships in the night, and I'm sure you guys did this too, where it's like, okay, you take the night shift so that I can sleep for a bit, and then you'll go to sleep, and then you have to leave for work, and then I'll take. It's just, it's almost insane. The whole
It,
thing is like a marathon of impossible insanity, and somehow we're all still here.
I feel like the only solution is for newborn moms to
Yes,
understand that nothing else matters.
it's true.
Because you want
That's
to hold
true.
on to so much of the before. You're
Yes.
like, oh,
Oh my
I've got
God.
plans. I got my routine. I usually do groceries. I usually do this. I use, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm saying this because I've watched Cassie live it too.
Yeah.
But you really just, you got to let everything else go and just, you know, find time for yourself. But that time is got to be worked into the space that the baby doesn't need. And
Mm-hmm.
then, yeah, it's almost like
Which,
paying
when they're
yourself
new,
first.
new newborns, they need you so much.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot. Like you,
Yeah.
they're like a fucking, you know, when you make a real big burrito
Mm-hmm.
and you can almost not roll it up kind of thing. And then
Okay.
you're like, hey, I made it. I'm done. And you put it down on your plate, it'll immediately like
Fall
balloon
apart.
out. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what a little fucking baby does. When you put it down, it just goes, "Nyeh," and just fucking wakes up and starts losing its fucking mind.
No, don't put me
Yeah.
down. I was warm and cozy and
Yeah. Do I
happy.
look like a
Yeah.
fat burrito to you? Pick me up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're needy as fuck.
Snuggle me. Yeah. And so I'm sure I've mentioned this on the cast before, and I don't know if this is even common knowledge yet, but we as humans, I guess, aren't supposed to actually be born that early. I think we're supposed to be born like at the 18-month mark or something like that. But naturally speaking, like women would die. Like we can't give birth to a baby that is 18 months old.
Yeah,
So
you'd be like a disposable
it
camera.
might be, yeah,
Just
it
one
might
and
be more
done.
than that. It might be older than that even. I don't know if 18 months is conservative, but uh or maybe it's too, I'm not sure. I'll have to look up the info again, but yeah, we're
But
born
you're
prematurely, more or less. And so the needs of a newborn are like, think of everything that they were getting when you were pregnant. Like they were getting food constantly. They didn't have to worry about diaper changes. They were warm and cozy. They're listening to the soft sound of everybody's voices through this like weird echo of embryo fluid, amniotic fluid, and yeah, life is good. And then you come out and it's like, oh my god, needs are not forever.
everything just feels so mean and sharp.
Yeah,
Everything's got
yeah,
angles to it, and there's fucking harsh lights everywhere. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's a rude awakening. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wonder. I'm trying to think of other animals that are born as helpless as a human baby. Like, and the
As
measure I'm
helpless.
using is, a human baby has no motility, no mobility. It's not going
Right.
anywhere. It can't
Right.
feed itself. Uh, it can't talk.
I mean, it might be the only thing it can do. Like breastfeeding comes up, like they figure it out pretty quick,
y- y-
or bottle feeding, whichever,
but they
you know what I mean.
can't get food, is what I'm saying.
Correct. Correct. They
They
can't
so
acquire food
they
themselves.
can't
Okay.
acquire food. They
Okay.
have
Okay.
no
Okay.
defense at all. Like they don't have fucking
None.
claws or talons or a
Psh,
beak or
psh.
they don't even have
Yeah.
fucking teeth.
They can't
And
bite. Yeah.
the coup de grace, their fucking head isn't even done.
No.
Their skull isn't even formed. So all I can
No.
think of right now is birds.
Right.
Because birds are born
Helpless.
like without feathers. They got a beak still, but they can't go anywhere. They can't. They
They
can
can't
talk.
see.
I'm sure that those are words in bird
Him. Where's my
language.
worms, mom? Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like it was a big price to pay just to walk on 2 feet.
We did it.
We did it.
We did it. Okay. How
uh,
how okay. Humans.
I'm gonna Google something different while you're googling that, and I'll tell
Okay,
you.
great.
But it's gonna be for the try to find the same information.
Physiological prematurity refers to the fact that compared to most animals, humans are born in a premature biological state. Ba-ba-ba. This is why they've come up with this term, the fourth trimester. So, like um, a lot of, I want to say current science or like maybe
21
things that we're
months.
adapting to socially. 21 months?
Gestation should be 21 months. You
No,
need fucking
no
8 feet
thanks.
legs and arms just to fucking walk around with a belly that big.
Dude,
Holy shit.
we'd be so huge. Like
Wait,
C-sections would be automatic.
the assumption is the baby would continue to grow. Like, out.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it'll
mean, you've
grow,
seen what a 21-month-old person looks like.
but I'm hoping that extra gestation would go more toward, and I'm like, there would be more growth, like
Mm-hmm.
length and mass wise.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking fingernails, teeth,
Oh God,
actual skull
yeah.
bones,
There'd
eyes
be
that
growing
work
teeth
right
in there.
away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
feel like that's what I'm looking for in the extra 12 what
Yeah.
12 months too
Sorry, I'm
soon.
doing the math. So like if we do 20, I
It's
can't do
12
math.
months extra. It's a whole extra year of being pregnant.
A whole extra year. Trying to picture, yeah, a 1-year-old. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, like a 1-year-old. What were our kids like when they were
When,
one? They had all
yeah,
their teeth,
when you're
definitely
one, that's when
nails.
they should be born.
Wow.
This one's talking this
Their
article
brain
it's
development. I
well
mean,
this
they
is
would they be traumatized more or less? Like it's hard to know.
well, you'd be dead so you wouldn't know anyway.
Well, that's and yes, and then moms would
Early
scarcely survive.
It says that early birth has an impact on diseases and disorders encountered by the otolaryngologist. Okay, so I don't know if this is specific to
That's a very cool word.
it's like mouth, throat, nose stuff.
Oh, oh,
So
I can't. I used to know it in French. Clearly, I don't anymore.
there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things that early birth has an impact on just from an otolaryngological point of view. Many of these
Wow.
conditions improve or resolve completely in the
Ornithology.
first year of life as an
Okay.
immune. And that's the other thing too. Like where I was just thinking about the outside stuff, but their immune system would grow stronger too, which it says right here.
Interesting.
So yeah, man, 12 extra months. Oh boy. Mm, that's
But then
yeah.
we get to have them and watch them do all that outside of the womb, and that's pretty special.
I mean, when you're looking back, you definitely appreciate it. But like you
Yeah,
said, when you're in it, it's hard to it's hard to get that 10,000 foot look down on what's going on in your life instead of that fucking two
totally.
inch
Yeah.
look at this. You're like, oh god, just
You're like, why
sleep.
won't you sleep? I'm exhausted. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
man.
and anybody who has a baby that sleeps is just lucky
Do you think
because I
the
feel like
when they
that's
talk
the
about it, sorry, when they talk about their babies who do sleep, do you think it's like
hmm
a it's like breaking the curse and the baby will stop sleeping? Is it bad luck to talk about it?
I think people feel this way. Yeah.
Yeah, like
I
if
definitely
you
felt that way about Isla, having known the complete opposite experience. I was like, don't say anything. Could go away at any moment.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It could go back to no sleep. So I was definitely like I saw both sides, but I needed an Isla or else I would have just been like so broken, I think. I would have just been
So
so
broken.
sleepless.
It's
But then interestingly enough, around 18 months she started getting nightmares and sleeping poorly and I was like, okay, I had plenty of time to catch up on my sleep, so I'm not going to complain, right?
yeah, it's
We did
it
good.
ebbs
We
and
did good.
flows. It comes and goes.
Totally.
But
Totally.
when the further part it is, the more willing you are to respond because you want to help them, you want to be there for them, and the opportunities are starting to disappear.
Mhm. It's true. Yeah, cuz soon, very soon, they'll be like, "Ew, no, mom, leave me alone."
Oh yeah, it's like when you're watching like the old Looney Tunes cartoons and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, where he's like the Mr. Hyde face just kind of pops out for a bit and then comes back in. That's what
Mhm.
kids are doing. They're like halfway between this fucking morph of like a nice child who needs you to this fucking semi-developed adult who could probably survive on their own but would need a
Yeah.
lot of help on the outside. I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
these borderline could be criminals don't realize how lucky they have it. You know what I mean? Like I certainly didn't. My God,
And I don't want to say I don't think you're supposed to, but the world,
you're not meant to. That's for sure.
yeah, you there's no concept of how big and great and vast the world is, and I think as you get older and maybe are exposed to things and have experience and see things at the broader spectrum and place that it is, you develop that perspective and appreciation, whereas kids are just like me, my toys, my parents,
Yeah.
they're mine.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, it's very main character energy, as some might say. Yeah.
I love that main character
Oh,
energy.
sorry, I wonder, I haven't brought up some Gen Alpha terminology in a while. I want to see if I've got some, if I may.
Oh, of course.
Oh, I did write this down as a topic, but now I feel like it's past. I'll bring it up another time. Okay. So I think both of these are similar. I'm not 100% on these, but I can look them up. So 808, I think, is like a.
It's a mixer, a synthesizer, or something like that. Eh? It's a production tool for music.
Is it? I thought this was like a crash failure. Oh, never mind. Is slang for a beat or track. It's also used to refer to a powerful bass sound in music, often called 808 kick. But is this what the current kids are saying?
You're thinking 404.
Maybe, yeah.
Page not found.
Yep. Yep, yep, yep. So heavy bass drum in music. Okay, cool. I think we figured that out. And then crash out is one of them, which I will also look up and confirm. But I
I heard
think it
that one
just
the other day. Look at us
crash out.
comparing notes.
Yeah. Crash out is a slang term used by Gen Alpha and Gen Z to describe when someone is so upset or angry that they might make a regrettable decision. When you're about to crash out, that means something just made you so mad or upset. You make a decision you might regret later. Me crashing out on everyone today because of the election.
Because
Oh
of the
boy.
election. Because I can't control my own emotions is
Mm-hmm.
the the real one.
Oh boy. Okay. So we did. I have so many. On skib
On
is
skib.
related to skibbity.
Okay.
So if they say on skib,
Is this just like overheard on bus route 3?
on bus route. Hang on.
On skib or on skibbity?
On skib
Oh, it
is
means
the one
bet.
I've heard. Bet? Is that the
Yeah.
one you heard? Bet.
On skib is a slang term that means bet.
Okay. So like, can we?
Sorry, it cut out when you gave your example.
Oh, I was gonna say, can you give an example?
Oh, uh, it says is slang for a slang term that means bet. For example, you might say bet I'll do it or oh yeah, on skib. It's a shortened version of the word skibbity.
Okay.
On
So
skib.
it's like affirming something, kind of.
Yeah, but it's used the same way like the previous generation would have used bet. I bet.
Okay.
It's the same generation as cap and
Okay. I see. I see. I see. I can't look this one up either. I can't find anything on this. There's one here that says Scentsy Girl, but I'm not sure about that. And then there's one put fries in the bag. Put the fries in the bag.
put the
This might
fries in the
be
bag. Is that a movie quote?
maybe put the fries in the bag. Just put the fries in the bag, bro, is a Gen Alpha slang phrase that can mean a few things. The person's taking too long and needs to hurry up. It can be used as an insult. It can be a way to tell someone to be quiet. It can be used to demean the addressee's thoughts and ideas. It can be used on someone you deem inferior.
Oh,
I'm gonna
just
start saying that to Anson.
I get it. I get it though. The
It's
one I'm
like
reading, it says
I'm
just put the.
picture.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, we keep I think delaying and talking over each other. Sorry. Go ahead with the one that you found.
Just put the fries in the bag, bro, is something you would say to someone if you want to insinuate that you are better than them. So,
Oh,
so if you're just put the fries in the bag, well, it's the only thing to do with the fries.
yeah.
So it's like you're talking down to them, like just put the fries in the bag.
Oh, I was picturing it as like a society, not societal, socio-economical divide as being like I'm the person who's paying you to put the fries in my bag. I'm better than you. You just work at some fast food chain. Like maybe I'm taking it too
I think it's
literal.
both.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I'm
they
better than
see
you,
themselves
and because I'm better than you, I'm smarter than you, so I know where the
superior.
fries go. I mean,
Yeah,
that's I could see one, but yours is
yeah,
fine too. Just this like the perceived social status of the job.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah. Um, Perhaps we can end on this, but cliffhanger for next week. Have your kids learned to play Catan
Catan
Junior?
Junior, yes, but William is already started talking about fucking house rules that he learned at school. I don't know. He's like, no, we only do. I'm like, I'm reading the rule book, pal. I'm reading the rules.
We're
It says right
reading.
here,
We're playing
two
by these
layers,
rules.
two pirate layers, two pirate ships
Yes,
to start the game. And he's like,
yes,
no, we only do one. I can only imagine it's because there's a reason. Like maybe there's more players than they have people. You know what I mean? I don't know.
pieces. Yeah, there's
Yeah, more
another.
players than pieces, kind of thing, just to make everyone, you know, be able to play. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're playing it. It looks a lot more fun. I like the trading system way better. You can
It's
just
fun.
just trade
Yeah,
into the bank or take shit off the table at the market.
yeah, yeah,
Like the
yeah.
take a penny, leave a penny of Catan. It's
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
funny.
And they said if you want to play a more advanced game, you can trade with other players. And I was like, we're not ready for this.
Oh no.
All
I
hell will
asked.
break loose if we get there. So
I told them, I was like, or we could trade with each other. And so it was Olivia's turn. She bought a pirate ship and she placed it, and then or no. She wanted. I said if you trade someone for this resource, you could build another layer because she'd already
hmm
put down a ship.
hmm
And I said, William, do you want to trade with Olivia? And he goes, no. Like, I was like, yeah, this is why we don't trade with kids. Will not help each other.
Yeah,
This
kids are not like, this could help me in the future.
exactly. There's no quid pro quo
Yeah,
with children. Anyway,
with
yeah,
kids. So
we'll talk about that more next time for sure.
yeah. After we've had a chance to play a few rounds and then see what kind of players they are. Anson definitely suffers from affluenza. It was hilarious watching him be coached by Jordan while he was playing against me because I was like, I lose all the time. Like I just do. And it's fine. Like it's still a fun game. But I was like, Anson needs somebody like Jordan to teach him because then he'll win, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, I need winners.
I need the best. I need to hire the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty good at Catan. Well, he hasn't won many lately, but don't tell him I said that.
Yeah, I won't remind him. He's like real down and out that he like lost 2 or 3 in a row or something, and I was just like,
I think it was 4,
get
but
out
I'm
of
not
here.
counting.
Yeah, get out of
It's not
here.
important. Yeah,
He'll
he's
still
won more than
play.
all of
He'll
us
still play.
combined. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you brought up Risk last time, and I thought, ooh, because I've had Risk this whole our entire relationship.
We should play a game of
Never
Risk
played it.
just so he can experience it, kind of thing. I think
Yeah,
if he
absolutely.
won a game of world domination, his head might fucking explode. I am
Oh
the
man.
best.
Yeah, just like fuck Catan, fuck Monopoly.
Yeah.
Risk is where it's
I want to
at.
kill real people all the time. Oh man. All right.
Too funny. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and whatever it is. What did I say? Whatever you're doing.
Yeah, happy whatever you do. And we'll talk to y'all next time.
Absolutely. Toodles.
I just clicked stop and I panicked that I
What
clicked
did I do?
did I
Yeah.
click